People ask me all the time what it feels like to drive a B18 Mini. Well, I got two words for you. Stupid fast. My name is Felix. This is my B18 VTEC Mini. I think over all these years and over all these other projects that I have attempted to finish and finished, one thing I learned about building cars is build a car that you want. Build a car that moves you, that connects with you. A lot of people will say, oh, this is not original. This does not belong in the 60s. This is not real, or this is not part of the history of Mini. But so what? You're driving a car that you want, you're building a car that you like. In the end, whatever moves you is the car that you'll enjoy for the rest of your life. My history with Mini started in 2005 when I first got my driver's license. My parents have always been into classic cars, classic Mercedes, classic Mini Mokes, back in Macau and back in Hong Kong. And I basically grew up with a lot of classic vehicles. So when I first got my license, one of my first vehicle was a classic Mini. And back then we have a few other guys in Richmond, and we started our own group. There was about 5-6 of us. And I think all we did back then were just go get bubble tea with our Minis. Matchbox Mini started in 2015, the 10th anniversary of my own experience with classic Minis. And originally we want a group of people from just around our neighborhood, around Richmond, with classic Minis just to hang out. But now it evolved to friends from all across the world, people from Japan, people from Hong Kong, Taiwan, in UK, and obviously Greater Vancouver as well, that is also part of our club. I have had a lot of Minis, from classic Mach 2 Minis, Mach 1 Minis, Mini Travelers, to Mini Cooper Works X. This particular Mini I acquired back in 2017. And when I first saw this Mini back in 2012, I saw the build thread of this particular vehicle. And I fell in love with it. And that picture became my wallpaper on my desktop. A couple of years later down the road, I can't believe it, he was selling it. He wanted to get into a 911 Porsche. And I'm like, well, I really like your Mini and I liked it since 2012, so I'll take it off your hands. And this is when I started making it even better. The car I got was already B-swapped, have a super fast Mini Tech subframe kit with a B18 C5, a USDM GSR Integra motor. When I first got the car was built by someone who was just finishing high school. So a lot of bits and pieces in it weren't as sophisticated than I originally thought, and it didn't look as good as in the videos and the pictures. So I began doing a lot of my own modifications, revisions, and to make it even better. Eventually we took the motor apart, we took the subframe out, we took the wire harness out, got the paint back into the primer stage, repainted the entire shell, put the motor back together, it replaced all the suspension, redid the entire wiring harness, and put it back together the way I want it. So there's a lot of personal touches involved and a personal emotion involved into this car. The ECU is a P28 with a Honda S300 Series 3. Current horsepower making is 217 to the wheels on a Mustang dyno. That's a non-adjusted ratio, non-adjusted horsepower to the wheels. And we have rebuilt the head. We changed all the seals in it, and then we give it a good tune with 94 octane gas. The torque here is a lot, but eventually you'll get used to it. The drive shaft is about this long on one side and this long on the other side, so it's not too balanced, but with the right alignment, this car is performing pretty good. A lot of my projects in the past have sparkly paint, so I try to incorporate that as my signature. The roof of this car features a black sparkly roof. Also, the hood of this car is a custom-made carbon fiber hood, and the boot lid is also made by carbon fiber. It is as light as a roll of toilet paper. Yeah, a lot of memories with the hood and the hood pins. I went to SEMA actually 2016 and I found these new products called Quick Latch. And then I was too cheap at the time, so I bought the Chinese knockoff of the Quick Latch. And they lock good, they lock very smoothly, and they were easy to install. However, during our second cruise, the hood latch didn't hold up to the speed or the wind. The hood latch disintegrated and the hood fell off. And I'm like, okay, well maybe it was defective, that hood pin. So I bought another set of Chinese hood pins, Chinese quick latch, and those ones didn't hold up as well. So eventually they all disintegrated. And now I have 4 real USA made quick latch hood pins, hood buttons. Make America great again. A lot of pieces, a lot of parts are obtained from Japan. As a lot of you might know, the market in Japan for classic minis are huge. There's a lot of support back there, and there's a lot of custom-made parts in mini for the mini culture in Japan. So I took a trip out there to buy all these parts, including the windshield wipers. Those are also made in Japan. And then I've also incorporated the Singer Porsche style door handles with the speed holes drilled into it. We have a complete Mach 1 exterior conversion, includes the front end Mach 1 grille and the rear end with a Mach 1 taillight conversion, a Mach 1 trunk lid as well. The turn signals, the corner lights are also Mach 1 style. And also I've shaved the bumpers. Shaving the bumper was also a big part because in order for you to shave the entire back end, that piece was joined by 3 different panels. So you can't just cut it off, you can't just take the bumper off. You have to take the bumper off, you have to cut off the little sheet metal and then re-weld 3 pieces of panels back together. The flares were obtained from Mini Sport. I really like the style. I think they call it Rally 7, something like that. But quality wasn't up to my standard, so I had them remade and reshaped to fit 10-inch wheels and to form a nice shape around my wheels and my tire setup. The window visors are made in New Zealand. I really like the 60s style. So I remember 60s, 70s, the cafe racers are very popular. So with the signature cafe racer helmets, I remember seeing the bubbly visors that they have on their helmets. So I wanted to replicate that. And eventually I found a guy that makes window visors for Safari Jeeps. So I contacted him to see if he could make something similar for Classic Mini. And so happened he was a Mini, Classic Mini owner as well. So he molded his Jeep visors onto his Classic Mini and then replicated for Classic Minis. The wheels looked the same as the one that came with the car when he originally built in 2012. These were the replicate of a magnesium wheel called Potenza that are made in the UK back in the 80s and the 90s. They were actually golf cart wheels that he found on eBay. I didn't feel safe driving on golf cart wheels, so I went and I found myself a real set of Potenza magnesium wheels from the UK, eBay on UK, and I imported it here into Canada and then powder coated black. One thing I learned about building cars is build a car that you want. Build a car that moves you, that connects with you. And in the end, whatever moves you is the car that you'll enjoy for the rest of your life.